And welcome to Fresh Oil. So glad you guys tuned to be in with us this evening of Fresh Oil Virtual Church as we're prepared to go into part two of this series, Carefree. Let's look what it just means, carefree, before we get ready to go on the text. Our foundational text will be found in 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 6 through 7. And then I'll just read that and then we'll look at carefree very shortly. And Peter says this to the saints, talking to you and I. First thing he starts off in verse 6, he says, listen, humble yourselves therefore under the mighty hand of God. Humble yourself under the authority of God, that he may exalt you in due time. Casting all your care upon him, for he cares for you. Be sober. Be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walks about seeking whom he may devour, whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. Part two of the series is entitled Carefree. Let's look at what this carefree means. I need you to understand, I don't want you to look at it from a book interpretation. I want you to be able to look at it from an internal interpretation in your life. And carefree simply means, listen, without anxiety or worry. That's what that means. But now I want you to look at this very carefully. Now I need you to look at the flip side of that. I want you to look at the opposite side of having a carefree life. Because we've already determined that carefree means without anxiety, without worry, nothing that will unsettle your nerves. But here's the flip side now to that. Look, stressed, burdened, weighed down, anxious, worried, troubled, distraught. All these things are happening internally, spiritually, mentally, and psychologically. So you have a carefree lifestyle, and then you have the opposite of a carefree lifestyle. And understand, listen, one is a blessing, and the other is a curse. One is a blessing, carefree life. The other one is a curse, the opposite of a carefree life. And it says, casting all your cares upon him, for he cares for you. Understand this, God doesn't want you to be stressed out. I need you to understand that stress is an enemy to your peace. It is a secret weapon that the devil uses to attack your mental and your emotional state. But you need to understand, God does not want you to be stressed. So the first thing that you need to do is shift your focus. Well, Pastor, what do you mean shift your focus? Whatever is trying to invade your peace. Shift your focus, not just your human eyes, but shift your spiritual insight. Paul tells us in Colossians 3:2, he says, set your affections, in other words, set your mind. Set your passion on things above. In other words, set your things above on the kingdom of heaven and not on things on the earth. So I need you to be able to see what's going to take place for you and I tonight if you and I really want to experience a carefree life. Understand what God is telling you and I. You need to understand that in this life that you and I are in, understand because of sin, you will always find yourself coming under attack by different issues in life. You'll find yourself coming under attack by certain circumstances and situations and conditions. But he tells you and I, listen, cast all your cares upon him. Understand, this is a kingdom opportunity presenting itself to you in a crisis. Understand that you will have crises. You will have dilemmas. You will have predicaments. But God is saying, listen, I am giving you a kingdom opportunity, and I'm presenting it to you right now. So listen, this is the first thing I need you to do. I need you to never look at this verse again the same way. Look at it right now. But I don't want you to look at it after I explain it to you in the same way ever again. It says, casting all your cares. Understand, this is a direct command that God is telling you, rather than a suggestion. He's not making a suggestion to you and I when you and I are dealing with crisis. He has given you and I, listen, a direct command. There are no gray areas. There are no misunderstandings. There is no misinterpretation. He's talking to you directly, and he's giving you instructions. But this is something you need to be able to understand. But you do have a choice in your situation. Whatever you're going through, he has already given you a command. He's already told you, listen, you don't have to try to handle it on your own. He already told you, listen, I want you to take it. I don't want you to allow it to become comfortable in your heart or comfortable in your mind. I want you to cast all your cares, everything that's going to cause you to get upset, anything that might try to attack your emotions, anything that might try to cause you to worry or to be anxious. I want you to cast that immediately upon me. Listen, but you do have a choice in your situation. What do you mean, Pastor? Meaning your troubles. You do have a choice. Are you ready? You can either let them go or keep them for yourselves. This is a kingdom opportunity. So when he says cast, that's an opportunity that, listen, that you have the ability to whatever is weighing on your heart, whatever is weighing on your mind, listen, you can release it or you can keep it for yourself. Other choice. Either own your troubles or disown them. And you need to understand, he is giving you a choice, and you can't blame this on the devil. You can't blame it on the drama that you are experiencing. You can't blame it on another human being. You can't blame it on outside force, because he has given you a direct command. There is no gray areas. There's no misunderstanding. He's giving you information, so you cannot say that you do not know what you need to do in the midst of your crisis. So you can either own them or you can disown them, but you have a choice. Here you go. You can either accept or rebel against the instruction that was given you. You need to be able to understand God is not going to twist your arm. He's giving you an out. Well, but are you ready for this? You have to be willing to take the out. 1 Samuel 15:22 tells us, listen, to obey is better than sacrifice. He didn't say for you to understand. He gave you a command. This is what you need to do. Don't try to think about it. You don't need to get in contact with your prayer partner. You don't need to contact the pastor to ask, what do you think I should do? You don't need to ask a deacon, a deaconess, or another church official, what do you think I should do about my situation? God has already told you what to do about your situation. He's already letting you know that drama is going to come your way. And when it comes your way, whether it's expected or unexpected, when it shows up, this is what I need you to do. When you open the door, grab it and then you throw it and cast it on me. Hashtag, who needs the headaches? And this is what I love about God saying that you and I can have a carefree life. Because when he talks about casting all your cares, he's really talking about all your worries and all your anxieties. He's talking about, listen, he's talking about the things that will slowly eat you up or destroy your peace, your joy, your vision, your hope. And listen, all this is taking place internally. So he tells you and I, listen, here's a command. I'm talking directly to you, because you and I need to understand that we all have issues. They're different issues, but listen, each one of us are dealing with something. Something uncomfortable is invading our life, or something uncomfortable is already in our life, or something that is uncomfortable, listen, we're about to go into it. So when he says cast all your cares, if I listen to this, you will not be discriminated against. Right there, that should set you in a place where you can be carefree. Number one, you won't be discriminated against, listen, based on your gender. Whether you are male or female. You won't be discriminated based on your age. There is no age discrimination. Because understand, young man, young woman, and listen, you have issues right now. You're dealing with some issues right now that we didn't deal with when we were your age. But you do have issues, but listen, you do still have an out. You need to be able to understand that you don't have to take drugs. You don't have to take alcohol. You don't have to get into illicit sexual relationships. You don't have to rob. You don't have to steal. You don't have to panic. You don't have to deal with depression. You have a way out. Then also, he does not discriminate against old. You need to understand, God doesn't care how old you are. When you get older, you're dealing with issues that you didn't have to deal with when you were younger. But God says, listen, you don't have to panic about that. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to sweat about that. You need to understand the same God that was with you when you were young, I'm the same God that's with you now. So what I told you to do when you were young, I told you to cast all your drama on me. Now that you got older, listen, don't let age or your so-called knowledge cause you not to have a carefree life, but cast that thing on me. Also, you will not be discriminated against based on your race. Based on your race. Whether you're black, whether you're white, Hispanic, Mexicano, Indian. It does not matter. You will not be discriminated against based on your race. You need to understand that regardless of whatever your race may be, you need to understand that you still going to have some drama. And God doesn't want you to have to deal with that. Also, what I love about this, you will not be discriminated against based on your etiquette. Whether you speak the King's language or whether you speak Ebonics, whether you speak Hood, you won't be discriminated. God says, whatever you're dealing with, throw that on me. Also, you won't be discriminated against your attire. Doesn't matter what you're wearing. You can be dressed to the 9, dressed to the 10. You can have a tuxedo on, or you can have jeans and Timberland boots on. You can have a long dress, or you can have a short dress. You won't be discriminated against then I love know your background. Doesn't matter what your background says. Doesn't care if you were born to an elite family. Doesn't care if you were born and then placed in an orphanage. Doesn't matter whether you live in the rural area, the suburbs, or the inner city. Understand, he says, if you got a problem, I have a solution. I'm the solution. I don't want you dealing with any nervousness. I don't want you to be anxious over anything. I'll handle it. But listen, I'm giving you a choice. You don't have to handle it. You cast it on me. Why is that so important? Because he tells you and I, according to Romans 2:11, for there is no respect of persons with God. Hashtag, take full opportunity of the opportunity. Take full opportunity of the opportunity. This is a kingdom opportunity that will give you kingdom results. We need to look at what he's telling you and I, when he tells you and I to casting. That is something that is plural. Casting all your care upon, listen, not some of your drama, not some of your crisis, not some of your situation, but everything, casting it upon it. Now let's look at this word casting in Greek. In this particular verse, it means, listen, to throw. It means to fling with energy or to hurl with force. What do you mean? When a crisis comes in, and listen, I need you to understand, look at me for a moment. When a crisis comes in, this is what he's telling you and I. When that drama comes in your life, he says casting. It says to throw. That's what he means, throw it down. You see how quick that came? Not only that, he says, listen, another Greek Greek interpretation is that, listen, when that drama, that situation comes in your life, you gotta listen, fling that thing down. On me. What is he saying? When you're flinging something, you're making some distance. Then the last interpretation, he says, when that drama starts knocking her on it. Did you see the distance? God says, far away from you. Listen, put some distance between that drama and your feelings. Put some distance away from that situation and your peace of mind. Throw it away and throw it on me because I can handle it. You ready? Never let worry, listen to this, never let worry live rent-free in your head. I'll say that again. Never let worry. That's the stuff that will affect your sleep. Never let worry. That's the stuff that will affect your appetite. The way either cause weight gain or weight loss. Never let worry live with rent-free in your head. Oh, I love this. Stop anxiety from subleasing in your thoughts. Anxiety is a twin to worry. So stop anxiety, listen, from subleasing in your thoughts. In other words, it's picking what thought that it wants to reside in. I love this one. Depression doesn't have squatter's rights, meaning to take up permanent residence in your mind or life. Hashtag, you can live carefree. You can live carefree. Look at these kingdom opportunities. Because God doesn't want you to experience some of the emotional trauma or psychological trauma that you may be experiencing. So he wants to get this point across to you and I. Because listen, you're going to have some things that's going to come in your life. You're going to have some things that's going to try to unsettle your nerves. You're going to have some things that's going to come on your life that's going to try to cause your emotions to be on or to live on the edge. Understand it. There are going to be some dark moments that you and I will have to encounter. You need to be able to understand that there will be moments, listen, where the rug will be pulled up from under our feet. And all these things are occurring, listen, because, listen, it's trying to attack your peace. Understand that the issues of life want your peace. Understand that the devil himself wants your peace. Are you ready? There are some people that can't get what you get or have what you have, and I'm just simply talking about God's favor. And they'll smile in your face and stab you in the back, causing some emotional hurt. So here's a kingdom opportunity that you must take advantage of. It's a moment that you have to maximize on when you're in a crisis, casting all your cares upon him. Here's the kingdom opportunity presenting itself once again to you in your crisis. This is what Jesus says. He says, come to me. You are experiencing some drama right now. Come to me. You just received a phone call that tried to unsettle you. You just saw something or you heard something at your job. Something trying to unsettle you and make you become emotionally unstable. You just witnessed something, or someone just witnessed something that took place in the community and they are presenting it to you, and now it is causing an uneasiness within you. Something was just reported on the news, or you just saw something on a social media outlet. It's affecting and messing with your mind, trying to affect your peace. So Jesus, this is what I want you to do. Come to me. He's very precise. This is why it is so important for you and I to understand. Because sometimes when you are going through something and your emotions get affected, you'll start running to people or running to situations believing that they can help you make it through what you're going through. But sometimes you and I need to realize that you're running to somebody to help you with an issue, and you didn't know that they're trying to run to somebody else as well because they got their own issues. So Jesus, this is what you do. Come to me. Listen, not your therapist. And it's good to have therapists. But he says, come to me, not your therapist. Not your psychiatrist. Because listen, they can sedate you, but they can't sedate your situation. Not your horoscope. You're going through what you're going through. Understand, you're a Taurus and he's a Scorpio. It's still ain't gonna work it out. He says, come to me. Or the fortune teller, or the tarot card reader, or Joel Osteen. I mean motivational speaker. He says, come to me, all you that labor. When you and I are going through things, you need to understand your spirit is laboring. Your mind is laboring. He says, all you that labor are not heavy burden internally. You need to understand behind every smile doesn't mean that there's joy. Need to understand behind every hallelujah that doesn't mean there's peace. And he says, and I will give you rest. And rest in Greek in this verse means, listen, to refresh. Refresh your mind. To refresh your spirit. Listen, to repose, which means peace or tranquility encompassing both physical and spiritual rest. He is telling you and I, when we take full advantage of this kingdom opportunity that he presents to us when you and I are going through what we call tough times, this is what the results that you and I can experience. Hashtag, there's nothing to worry about. Now here's the point that you and I have to be honest with ourselves. Understand, when you're going through tough times, are you ready for this? The real you will come front and center. When your back is up against the wall, the real you will begin to show itself. When the rug has been pulled from up under your feet, you'll stop hiding the real you and talk about your emotions and your thought process. So listen very carefully, because we said that there's a choice. You can choose the blessing. That's being carefree. And that's without worry. That's without anxiety. Or you can flip the opposite side. Where there's stress, where there's trouble, where there's distress, where there's burden, where there's a weighing down of the spirit, the heart, and the mind. So when he tells you and I, this is what I want you to do in your midnight hour, this is what I want you to do in the midst of your crisis, I don't need you to think about it. I just need you to follow these instructions. Cast everything that's weighing, everything that is affecting your mind, everything that is affecting your thinking process, everything that is affecting your speech, everything that is affecting your walk. I want you to cast that on me. Are you ready for this? Your refusal to accept the kingdom opportunity like this speaks volumes about you. I'll say it again. this kingdom opportunity that Jesus just presented itself to you and I. Because I don't know about you, but I got some things that's trying to attack my peace. Trying to attack my vision. Trying to attack my emotions. Your refusal to accept a kingdom opportunity, not the earth, but the kingdom of God, speaks volumes about you. It shows things that you have tried to keep hidden. Are you ready? One, it shows your selfishness. Because he told you to cast it down, to throw it away. But since you want to hold on, listen, what is one of the first things that you have to teach a little child? A little infant that can't even speak, that can't even barely walk. Some can't even crawl. What are the first things, one of the things that you have to teach them? You have to try to teach them to share. Because everything they have on, they want to hold on to it. What are they saying? It's mine. And so sometimes you and I at 30, 40, 50, 60, and even 80, sometimes we still have a childlike mentality when it comes to our problems. We still want to hold on to it. We're still saying, it's mine. So your refusal to accept this invitation shows your selfishness. Are you ready? It's saying you're keeping it for yourself. You're keeping your issues. Secondly, are you ready? You claim ownership. Ownership of what? You're simply telling God, my troubles belong to, listen, you simply say, my troubles belong to you and no one else. Because you're taking ownership of it. Number one, you didn't show that you're selfish about it because you're rejecting his offer. Secondly, you're claiming your own troubles. You're saying, God, I don't need you to handle this because this doesn't belong to you. It belongs to me. Thirdly, only you and you only can figure a way out of the pressure of your present situation. Proverbs 14 and 12 tells you and I, there's a way which seems right to a man. Listen very carefully what he says. There's a way which seems right, which means it is a wrong way. It's wrong to want to hold on to your drama when he said, cast it on me. It's wrong when he says, you don't have to carry it, I'll carry it for you. There's a way which seems right to a man, but the end there are the ways of death. Fourthly, you ready? You're saying you don't trust God at his word. Because he said, cast all your cares upon him because he cares for you. But your refusal. And listen, this opportunity is given with no stipulations. It's given with no expectations. Just cast it on me. But fourthly, you're saying, listen, you don't trust God and his word. Jesus says, heaven and earth shall pass away. Listen, but my words shall not pass away. But what are you saying? You're saying, listen, I don't trust you, God, and then I don't trust your word. Fifthly, you're saying you have more faith in your situation. You got more faith in the condition that you're in. You got more faith in your struggle. And you got more faith, listen, in your own human abilities than you do have in God. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Heart in Hebrew in this verse means, listen, your mind. Means your intellect. Listen, not your human intellect, but your spiritual intellect. Listen, your will, your thoughts, your decisions and passions. And lean not to your own understanding. Hashtag, choose the blessing, not the curse. And then he says, in all your ways. And the Hebrew in this verse, it means in all aspects. Decisions, actions, the overall course of your life. Acknowledge him, talking about Jesus, and he shall direct your path. Direct your path in Hebrew means, listen, to make straight, to smooth out, removing obstacles so the way is clear and prosperous. Listen, when you trust and acknowledge God. This is very careful. All of us had something to occur to us today. Understand, just waking up, things try to attack your peace. Just opening your eyes, something tries to attack your joy. Before you leave your home, there's something in the atmosphere in your own home that tries to affect you emotionally. When you get in your automobile, when you're on public transportation, going to school or going to a job or going shopping, there is something out there that's trying to unsettle your emotions. There's something that wants your joy. Pause. The devil don't never want to see you happy. He don't never want to see you smiling. He always wants to see you tore up from the floor up. He always wants to see you, listen, he always wants to see you broken. But God says you don't have to go through all that. I want you to live a carefree life. Are you ready? If you're stressed, it's because you're selfish. It's not the workload. It's not what's going on around the world. It's not going on, it's not depending on what's happening in the neighborhood. If you are stressed, it ain't about the bills. It ain't about your health issues. If you're stressed, it's because you're selfish. If you're dealing with anxiety, listen to this. If you're dealing with anxiety, it's because you have some trust issues. I'll say it again. If you're dealing with anxiety, that's worries. It's because you have some trust issues. Because when he tells you and I to cast all your cares upon him because he cares for you, this is what you forfeit when you reject the kingdom opportunity. Because Isaiah tells us in 26:3, listen, he says, you will. Talking about God, will keep him in perfect peace. That means wholeness. That means complete. That means internal peace, mental peace, spiritual peace. Listen, whose mind is stayed. And when we look at the word stayed in Hebrew in this verse, it means to lean upon. Because you've already heard God tell us in Peter, when you're going through something, cast whatever wants to attach itself to your heart and to your mind, to your praise, to your worship. Take that thing and you cast it on me. Now in this Hebrew word, when he talks about staying, he's talking about to lean upon, to uphold, to support, or rest, listen, oneself upon God. When you're going through something, listen, you don't have to allow the issues or the trials or the tribulations of this world knock you down or affect your emotions, God is telling you, lean on me. Rest yourself. Listen, if you come to me, I'll give your mind some rest. And all this occurs on you because he trusts in you. If you learn to take whatever is bothering you and cast it on God, in return, God will always give you something when you accept the kingdom opportunity. When you throw your drama on me, I'll give you some peace. Hashtag chill, don't choke. Chill, don't choke. That means, listen, relax and let your life perform well under pressure. Relax. Let your hair down. Exhale. Kick your feet up. Relax and let your life perform well under pressure. In other words, let your actions speak on your behalf. If you're worrying, it's because your intellect is confused. Psychological concepts describe it as cognitive impairment, often called, listen, brain fog. What do you mean intellect is confused? You need to understand, are you ready for this? You don't have any business worrying about anything. I'm going to say that again. Because I think I got somebody's attention now. Because somebody is coming under some form of financial attack. Something is happening in the household. Something is happening with that car. Something is happening with that college intuition. Something is happening in the relationship. Something is happening in the body. And you dare to tell me I'm not supposed to worry? Well, I'm glad that you feel that way. Because I need you to understand it. You have no business worrying. Are you ready? You have no right, no legal right to worry. What do you mean I have no legal right to worry? Listen, if you are worrying, it's because you broke the law. Pastor, what do you mean I broke the law? God gave you a command. When you got some troubles, cast them on me. And if you rejected to cast them on, then you're breaking the law. So you and I have no business worrying. Can you prove that? I'm glad you asked. Philippians 4:6 says, be careful. In the Greek, that means be anxious. Not to worry. Listen, for nothing. I love this part right here. Because I need you and I to get this down so that I want you to look at this nothing, and I want you to look at it, and I never want you to look at it and see it this way ever again. When it says, be anxious for nothing. Are you ready? Let's break that nothing down. Be anxious for no thing. That's what it means. Be anxious for no thing. Be careful for no thing. Be troubled for no thing. But in everything, by prayer and supplication, which means your petition, with thanksgiving. Listen, you can't worry and give God thanks at the same time. You have a choice. In the midst of your situation, are you going to worry about your situation? Or are you going to tell God about your situation and then start thanking Him for the situation? Pastor, what do you mean thank Him for the situation? It's a difficult situation. You give Him thanks because you have an understanding. I'm giving Him thanks because I know He has the ability to bring me out of it. But I also give Him thanks because I know He has the ability to keep me while I'm in there. Let your request be made known to God. Hashtag, are you ready? No vacancies. Pastor, what is it? No vacancies. Point to your head. No vacancies. I'm not renting a room to no one. And the peace of God, which passes all understanding, listen to this, shall keep, meaning guard and protect. There is things that you get when you and I take full advantage of a kingdom opportunity. When God presents you with an opportunity and you respond with an opportunity, God always gives you something for taking advantage of the opportunity that He's presented. What is that opportunity, Pastor? You gave Him your worry and He gave you His peace. And then it says, listen, to guard and protect. That is talking about from a military perspective. Your mind and your heart is talking about essentially if you and I have any understanding about the military, or we can even use some government bases, whatever. They have military guards that are stationed at different entrances into those unauthorized areas. Your mind is unauthorized. They have armed guards put placed there on duty. No unauthorized person can come in there. In other words, no unauthorized, ungodly thoughts. And not only there, simply guess what? They're there for a certain amount of time. But are you ready? They can't leave their post until someone officially comes that they can identify with the proper identification to step in and to relieve them of their duty, so now they can take up their duty. So God says He will protect your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Let's look at hearts and minds in Greek. In this verse, it means, listen, the inner core of a person. Are you ready? You never meet the inner core of a person until trouble shows up. Are you ready for this? Most of the time, without any drama, you are the only person that you will ever meet. Are you ready for this? You will always meet a person's representative. It's when trouble shows up that you get introduced to the real you, the real him, the real her. So it's talking about the inner core of a person. It's talking about the seat of the emotions. Are you ready? Emotions are not faithful. Pastor, what do you mean? Emotions will get in bed depending on whatever issue may show up in your life. Means desire. Means will. Then listen. And character. Then finally the intellect and the thoughts. This is all in you. And the enemy and the issues of life want to affect this. And Jesus is saying, listen, I'm putting a safeguard around you so that your peace doesn't get affected. But you have to do something. You have to take that drama, that situation, that condition that you're dealing with, and you have to cast it on me. This is what I love about, He's actually saying, I got your back. If you're in distress, it is the results, listen, of misplaced faith. If you are in distress, mostly torn down, worn down, weary, it is the result of misplaced faith. Well, Pastor, what is faith? Let's look at faith, because we always hear it all the time. But sometimes it's not interpreted. This is what faith is. Faith is a confidence. It is a belief. It is a trust. And it is an assurance, listen, in God Himself and in God's word. And what God said concerning you. So Hebrews 11:1 simply starts and it says, now faith. Now the word now in Greek in this verse means, listen, at this moment. The present time. Right now. At this very instant is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. In other words, faith says it's here even though I can't see it, it's still here. Faith says, listen, I can't touch it, it's not tangible, but it's still here. Love this, listen. Write this down somewhere. Where there is no worry, there are no worries. Where there is no worry, there are no worries. When you step into the realm of being carefree, are you ready for this? This is how you settle your emotions. This is how you keep your negative thoughts corralled. This is how you bring every thought into the obedience of Christ Jesus. Are you ready for this? Simply remind yourself this, and this will calm your nerves. You don't need a sedative. You don't need a drink. You don't need a joint. Are you ready? It is what it is. When you step into that carefree realm, because you've taken full advantage of opportunity that God has presented to you, to relieve yourself of your stress, you're able to say, it is what it is. This is what you need to be able to understand what God is telling you and I when he's telling you and I, you have some drama. You weren't meant to carry it. So now that it has invaded your life, I'm giving you an out. You don't have to fight with it. You don't have to wrestle with it. Cast it on me. Understand I care for you. Understand this thing. Your mind wasn't given to you to be a burden bearer. That's why you come under stress. That's why people have mental meltdowns. That is why sometimes people will even be driven to the place of suicide. That is where the place where sometimes people will check out of life. Doesn't mean suicide. It simply means they're existing, no longer living. Your mind wasn't given to you. Your mind is a gift that God gave you. God gave you a creative mind. So your mind wasn't given to you to be a burden bearer. Your mind wasn't given to you to entertain stress or be its host. Your mind wasn't given to you to be victimized by the issues of life. This right here just blew my mind as God shared it. You weren't created to be tormented by your own mind. The devil ain't doing nothing to you. But you have allowed your emotions the authority to tell you how you will feel, when you will feel, and where you will feel. Take advantage of kingdom opportunity. Understand this, what God is simply saying to you and I about this, where there's no worry. Understand that God says something that takes place, that he needs you to take advantage of this kingdom opportunity. Understand that this heavy burden that he talks about, that laboring that he's talking about. In the Greek, in that verse, as we back up and revisit it, it means, listen, to be weary. Your mind has become weary. Anytime your mind becomes weary, listen, it gets weak. Anytime that it gets weak, it gets delusional. Anytime it gets weak, guess what? It stops seeing what God has said, and it starts seeing what your situation is saying. The next one is strive or struggle often to the point of exhaustion. And then when it talks about it being heavy laden, because that's what the issues of life do. In Greek, in this verse, it means, listen, to load up, to overload with excessive, crushing weight or overburden. Sometimes migraines come from that because the brain has been overloaded by the issues of life. Hashtag, unload your mind. Jesus is saying, anything that comes in your life that tries to affect your carefree lifestyle, hurl it. Don't hold on to it. Fling it. Don't keep it to yourself. And he said, throw it on me. Don't walk, listen, God is telling you that. Don't walk the floor all night ever again over your children. I'm going to say it again. Don't you walk the floor all night over those children. Throw their behavior on Jesus. David said, I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. For you, Lord, only make me dwell in safety. That's what I'm going to do. Hashtag no more sleepless nights. Don't you get riled up because your finances and relentless bills keep coming. Don't you do that. Throw the numbers on Jesus. David said, don't you worry about a thing. This is what David tells you and I. So this helps settle your nerves. This will allow you that you will know for yourself that the devil's a liar, that your issues are a lie, that your situation is a lie, that your condition is temporary, that is not permanent. David says, listen, I have been young, and now I am old. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. Just reminds us, tell that reflection in the mirror, listen, we don't sweat. We don't sweat. Are you ready? As we were preparing to close this portion out, listen. Whatever you're going through, whatever you've been going through, what you're getting ready to go through, what you're already in, he says, take it and cast it on me. Cast it as far away from your thoughts and your feelings as can be. The blood work, the biopsy, the CAT scan, the MRI. Throw the results on Jesus. He says, for I'm the Lord that heals you. The divorce. Yes, y'all were married for a long time. Yes, y'all had some beautiful children. Yes, y'all had some good times, but the divorce. The end of that long-term relationship that you were looking towards marriage, but it was never about marriage. The last goodbye at the cemetery. Throw your heart on Jesus. He heals the broken and hearted, and he bandages their wounds. Tell the reflection in the mirror, I don't have a care in the world. You need to understand, why is it so important, Pastor? Why would you tell me to tell that reflection in the mirror that I don't have a care? You need to understand that that reflection in the mirror is intimidated. That reflection in the mirror gets nervous. That reflection in the mirror gets afraid sometimes. That reflection in the mirror sometimes only sees what it's going through. So you have to tell that reflection in the mirror, we don't have a care in the world. So when he says cares, that's plural, which lets you know, listen, you're going to have drama. As long as you live, you're going to have drama. As long as you live, there's going to be things that's going to come in your life that's going to try to affect the way that you think, the way that you feel, that's going to try to affect your thoughts, that will try to affect your conversation, that will try to affect your direction, meaning the steps that you walk in. Cares. Cares for you in Greek. In this verse means God pays attention to what you're experiencing. You need to be able to understand before you got to your drama, God saw it. That's why he told you to cast it on him. You need to understand before you made the doctor's appointment, God said, okay. Before you went to the courthouse, God said, before your child got into that, he's omniscient. He already seen everything. So he's giving you a heads up. When the drama comes, listen, don't let it get stationary. Don't let it get comfortable. Don't let it bring an overnight bag. Let your drama know, listen, let your drama know that your father says he don't allow sleepovers. cares for you in this way. It means God pays attention to what you're experiencing. He's concerned about you and your well-being. This is where you get carefree. Are you ready? When you know the end of a matter, it leaves you in a carefree state. No weapon that is formed issues. Things that try to attack you internally from an external perspective. No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. That places you in a carefree state. Listen, are you ready? When you get in a carefree state, are you ready? You tell the enemy, bring it. Also, he's concerned because he wants you to always be in a carefree state. That is why he tells you and I, in the world, I want you to know, yes, you are saved, filled with the Holy Ghost, you speaking in multiple tongues. Yes, you're on your way to heaven. Yes, you have a seat at the marriage table. Yes, you have a crown of life. Yes, you have a robe of righteousness. Yes, I'm walking with you, but you still need to understand, in this world, as long as you are living in this world, you're going to have some tribulation. That means you're going to have some trouble. I understand you don't have to come looking for trouble. Trouble is going to come looking for you. Understand, I don't care about how much money you may have. I don't care where you live at. I don't care what you drive, what you wear, or what you eat. You need to understand, hardships is coming your way. Understand some distress. That's what he's telling you. There's some anguish. Understand, he's letting you know that persecution is going to come. You need to understand that sometimes you didn't realize just how hated you was until you start serving Jesus. And then pressure. The devil got pressure on you. Because of sin, the world has issues that try to place pressure on you. There's people that are around you. Are you ready for this? Their only assignment is to put pressure on your heart and put pressure on your mind. But Jesus says, but be of good cheer. I've overcome the world. I just want to give a precursor, a preview for next week if the Lord keeps us. Listen to this. Cast all your cares upon him, for he cares for you. Be sober. Be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walking about seeking whom he may devour. Are you ready for this? Anxiety and your fear makes you somewhat like a prey. Are you ready for this? A scared prey releases a scent in the atmosphere that a predator can smell. So when you're worrying and when you're stressing, you are releasing certain hormones, spiritual hormones, out into the atmosphere so that the predator, the devil himself, can smell it. And then he'll get on your trail. I'm so glad you guys tuned in to be with us tonight. My brothers, my sisters, I want you to know, listen, that you can have a carefree life. Understand, just like the 3 Hebrew boys were in the fiery furnace, guess what? Fire was all around them, but they still were carefree. Because Nebuchadnezzar said, did not we put 3 men in? But I see 4 in there, and they walking around. So my brother, my sister, I want you to know, regardless of whatever you may be going through, you can have a carefree life, and you can look at your situation, and you can simply say, it is what it is. But there's one thing I know. We living carefree. I look forward to being with you guys coming Sunday morning as we're going into a continuation of the series, Better Days. I want you to know, listen, that better days are ahead for you. And I need you to understand, keep your head up, keep your shoulders squared, and keep it moving. Love you guys. I'll talk to you real soon. Be blessed now. God bless you.